It is a Sunday morning. You have got coffee in your hand, the house is quiet, and you are standing at the kitchen sink waiting for it to drain. But it is not draining. It is just sitting there, slow and sulking, and that faint sour smell is coming up from the basin again. You have been ignoring it for a couple of weeks now, maybe longer. You run the hot tap, hope for the best, and go back to your coffee. But the water is still there when you come back. That is a moment most of us have had. And here is what I want to say, right at the start. That slow, stubborn drain is not a mystery. It is not a plumbing emergency. And it does not require a service call, a loud machine, or a bottle of something that burns your eyes. What it usually requires is something much simpler. Something that folks in Japan have been doing for generations. Quietly and without much fuss. That keeps drains running clean without all the drama. If you want to go deeper on this topic, there is a full ebook in the description below that walks through the complete Japanese home maintenance approach. Take a look when you have a moment. Now, before I get into what actually works, I want to spend a minute on what does not. Because I have watched folks throw good money at this problem for years, and I think it is worth being honest. The big one is chemical drain cleaners. You know the ones. They come in thick plastic bottles, they cost anywhere from $8 to $15, and they promise to dissolve the clog in minutes. I used to keep one under the sink myself. What I have come to understand over time is that those products work by using a very harsh chemical reaction, usually involving lye or sulfuric acid, that can eat through hair and grease. Yes, but can also slowly degrade older pipes, eat through rubber gaskets, and leave a residue that creates new problems downstream. Plumbers I've spoken to over the years are not fans. And the environmental side of things is worth thinking about too. To put some real numbers on that environmental concern, the United States Environmental Protection Agency has identified sodium hydroxide, the active ingredient in most gel drain cleaners, as a substance that can raise the pH of waterways when it enters the municipal system in large enough quantities. A single household bottle is not going to cause a crisis, but consider that roughly 17 million households in the United States report using chemical drain cleaners at least once a month. That adds up. And in homes with older cast iron or galvanized steel pipes, the kind common in houses built before 1970, repeated chemical treatments accelerate interior corrosion measurably. A plumber I spoke with in 2021, who had been working residential jobs in the Chicago area for over 20 years, told me something interesting. He can often tell, just by looking at a pulled pipe section, whether the homeowner had been using chemical cleaners regularly. The interior surface has a distinctive pitted texture that well-maintained pipes do not have. Then there is the baking soda and vinegar method. This one is everywhere on the internet. Pour baking soda down, chase it with vinegar, watch it fizz, wait an hour. I am not going to tell you it never does anything, but I will be honest. Most of the actual cleaning work in that method is done by the hot water you flush afterward, not the fizz itself. The fizzing looks impressive. What it mostly is carbon dioxide bubbles. It is not a strong enough chemical reaction to break up a genuine grease clog. It can help with odors. It can loosen very light buildup. But if you have a real clog, it will let you down. And those electric drain snakes you can rent or buy. They have their place. A serious blockage deep in the line? Yes, a snake makes sense. But for the everyday slow drain, the kind most of us deal with, it is more than you need. And if you do not know what you are doing, a cheap snake can scratch the inside of pipes, or push a clog further down rather than clearing it. The Japanese approach is different. It starts from a different premise entirely. The idea is not to fix the drain after it clogs. The idea is to maintain it so it never really clogs at all. Regular, simple attention rather than periodic emergency. That philosophy runs through a lot of traditional Japanese home practice. Careful, consistent upkeep as a form of respect for the house and everyone in it. I find that framing genuinely useful, not just poetic. This philosophy has a name in Japanese domestic tradition. The concept of soji, which translates roughly as cleaning or sweeping, is not treated as a chore to be postponed until things become visibly wrong. In Japanese schools, children clean their own classrooms every day before they go home. Not the custodial staff, the children themselves, with small brooms and rags as a daily practice. The lesson being taught is not about cleanliness for its own sake. It is about the relationship between regular small effort and a well-functioning environment. A drain maintained weekly never becomes a drain that needs emergency attention at 7 in the morning on a Sunday. So let me walk you through exactly what this looks like in practice. There are several steps, and I am going to take them one by one. The first thing to understand is what is actually inside your drain. For a kitchen drain, the main culprits are grease and fat that cool and stick to the pipe walls, food particles that get past the strainer, and soap residue that binds everything together over time. For a bathroom drain, it is mostly hair and body oil, and the residue from shampoos and conditioners. Both types of buildup are organic, and organic buildup responds to temperature, enzymes, and physical removal in a way that chemical cleaners actually do not improve on, once you understand the method. Step 1 is the hot water flush, and this is where I want you to pay attention, because most people do it wrong. Running your hot tap for 30 seconds is not the same thing. What you want is water that is as hot as your tap can produce. Or better, water you have heated on the stove to just below boiling. Somewhere around 140 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. You pour it slowly and steadily down the drain. A full kettle is about right. The heat softens and loosens the grease and soap film that coats the inside of the pipe. Think of it like warming butter in a pan. Once it is warm, it moves. Once it is cold and hard, nothing shifts it. I do this once a week in my kitchen. Just a kettle of hot water, poured slowly. It takes about 90 seconds. It is the single most effective maintenance habit I know for keeping a kitchen drain clear. If you do only one thing from this video, make it that. Step 2 is the salt method. This is an old Japanese household technique, and it is one I came to late. But I have used it consistently ever since. Coarse salt, sea salt or kosher salt, not table salt, is a gentle abrasive when it travels down a pipe with hot water. You use around a quarter cup. You pour the salt directly into the drain opening. Then follow immediately with a full kettle of the hottest water you can manage. The salt acts as a physical scrubber on a microscopic level as it passes through, and it also draws moisture and inhibits the bacterial growth that causes odors. This is not dramatic. You will not see anything happen, but over weeks and months, the difference in how the drain runs and smells is real. The reason table salt does not work as well comes down to grain size. Table salt is ground fine enough that it dissolves almost instantly on contact with hot water before it has traveled more than an inch or two into the pipe. Coarse sea salt or kosher salt has granules large enough to survive the first few inches of travel, while still retaining some abrasive quality. Diamond Crystal kosher salt and Malden sea salt are both readily available and both work well for this. A box of either costs under $4 and will last months of weekly treatments. Step 3 is where the baking soda actually earns its place, just not in the way most people use it. The Japanese household method uses baking soda as a deodorizer and mild alkaline cleaner, not as a fizzing spectacle. You use about half a cup. You pour it into the drain, and you let it sit there dry for at least 20 to 30 minutes, ideally an hour. Overnight is even better if you are doing this before bed. Then you flush with hot water. The baking soda has had time to absorb odors and begin breaking down the light organic residue on the pipe walls. That sitting time is the part people skip. That is what makes the difference. Step 4 is the stopper and cover clean, and this is something I genuinely believe most people in the West never think about. In Japanese home practice, the drain cover and the stopper mechanism are cleaned every single week. Not rinsed, cleaned. You remove them, you rinse them under running water, and you scrub them with a small brush and a little dish soap or baking soda paste. The amount of grease and hair and soap buildup that accumulates on a drain cover in a single week is remarkable once you start paying attention. And every time you run water, that buildup gets rinsed back into the drain. Keeping the hardware clean keeps the whole system cleaner. I keep a small dedicated brush just for this, the kind with stiff bristles, about the size of a toothbrush. It costs almost nothing. It lives under the sink. Once a week, maybe 2 minutes. The drain cover cleaning habit alone, in my experience, reduces slow drain problems by more than any product you could pour down there. Step 5 is the enzyme approach, and this is where the Japanese cleaning tradition and modern science happen to agree very well. Enzyme-based drain cleaners, not the harsh chemical ones. use naturally occurring bacteria and enzymes to digest organic matter inside the pipe. They are safe for pipes, safe for septic systems, and genuinely effective when used consistently. They are not a quick fix. They work over days, not hours. You apply them in the evening, let them work overnight, flush in the morning. You do this once a month as part of your routine. These products have become more widely available in the last several years, and a good one runs somewhere between $10 and $20, lasting several treatments. Compare that to what a plumber charges for a basic drain service call, which in most parts of the United States runs well over $100. The math is very straightforward. BioClean Backout and Green Gobbler Enzyme Drain Cleaner are two products I have seen recommended consistently by people who maintain their own plumbing seriously. Both have been on the market long enough, over a decade each, to have a real track record. Neither will unclog a fully blocked drain overnight. What they will do, used on the first of every month with the patience to let them work through an 8-hour period while you sleep, is keep the pipe walls clear of the organic film that eventually becomes a blockage. Prevention rather than rescue. BioClean Backout, for instance, uses live enzyme cultures derived from plant extracts and has been formulated without chlorine or artificial fragrance since the company launched it in the 1990s, which matters if you have a septic system that depends on living bacterial colonies to function properly. If you want the full breakdown of all 5 steps, including the exact timing and quantities for different drain types, the guide linked in the description below covers it in detail. Step 6 is what I call the physical check, and this is the step that separates a well-maintained drain from one that silently builds toward a big problem. Every month or so, you take a flashlight and you look into the drain. You are not diagnosing anything complex. You are just looking. Is there visible buildup on the drain walls near the opening? Is there standing water sitting below the trap? Does the stopper mechanism move freely? Most issues that turn into plumbing calls give early warning signs that are completely visible if you are paying attention. The Japanese maintenance philosophy is built on this kind of regular observation. Not paranoia, just awareness. If you do see significant buildup close to the opening, a thin, flexible brush, sometimes called a drain brush, can reach several inches in and physically remove it. These are inexpensive, they last for years, and they solve the problem at its source rather than trying to dissolve it chemically from above. Step 7 is about what goes down the drain in the first place, and I will be honest, this is the hardest part for most households. In Japanese kitchen practice, there is a strong cultural habit of collecting cooking grease and fat in a separate container rather than rinsing it into the sink. Bacon grease, the fat from a roast, the oily residue from a pan, these go into a jar, not the drain. Once the jar is full, it goes in the trash. This single habit removes the single biggest source of kitchen drain buildup. Grease is the reason most kitchen drains slow down. Remove the grease, and you remove the problem at its root. I know this feels like a small thing. It is actually a large thing over time. The drain I maintain in my kitchen, following these habits, runs at the same speed today as it did years ago. No products, no service calls, no drama. The habits are the maintenance. Step 8 is about the bathroom drain specifically, because the causes and solutions are a little different there. Hair is the main culprit in bathroom drains. It binds with soap residue and creates a dense mat that water cannot get through. The most effective tool in the Japanese bathroom cleaning kit for this is simply a hair catcher. A fine mesh insert that sits over the drain and catches hair before it enters the pipe. These cost a few dollars. They need to be cleared after every shower or bath. That is all. That one tool, used consistently, nearly eliminates the need for any other bathroom drain intervention. When you do get some buildup past the hair catcher, the hot water and salt method works in the bathroom just as well as the kitchen. And the drain stopper cleaning habit is equally important, if not more so, because bathroom stoppers tend to catch hair and soap together in a way that is genuinely unpleasant if left for months. Step 9 is something I want to close this main section with, because I think it captures the whole spirit of what I have been describing. In Japanese, there is a concept sometimes called continuous improvement through small, consistent actions. It is a principle applied everywhere from manufacturing to housekeeping. The idea is that a large problem is almost always made up of many small, neglected things, and the answer is not a dramatic intervention. It is consistent. Modest, attentive care. That is exactly what drain maintenance is. A slow drain is not a catastrophe. It is an accumulation of small things over time, and the response to it should be an accumulation of small habits over time. A kettle of hot water once a week. A scrub of the drain cover. A hair catcher cleared after each shower. Baking soda left to sit overnight once a month. An enzyme cleaner applied on the first of the month. None of these things take more than a few minutes. Together, they keep a drain performing as well as the day it was installed. Without a machine, without a service call, and without expensive products that do not actually work as advertised. If you have found this kind of calm, practical approach useful, and you want to keep learning, I would invite you to subscribe to this channel. We cover home maintenance, natural cleaning methods, and traditional household wisdom in this same plain-spoken way every week. If you have a question about something we cover, leave it in the comments. I read them, and I do my best to answer. Let me leave you with a simple plan for the next few weeks. This week, do the hot water flush tonight and clean your drain cover. That is it. This coming weekend, pick up coarse salt and a small drain brush if you do not already have them. Next month, try the baking soda sit overnight and look into an enzyme cleaner for your first monthly treatment. If you have a bathroom with a slow drain right now, get a hair catcher in today. They are available at any hardware store for $2 or $3, and they fix the problem permanently. There is no money in teaching folks the simple thing that actually works. The products in those bright plastic bottles exist because they are sold, not because they are the best answer. The best answer is usually older, simpler, and cheaper than whatever is on the shelf. That has been true for a long time. It will keep being true. Before I go, take a look at the ebook in the description below. It brings together the full Japanese home maintenance approach into one place, including these drain methods and much more. And I want to ask you something before you go. Do you have a drain cleaning method you have trusted for years? Something a parent or grandparent showed you? Or something you stumbled on yourself that just quietly works? I would genuinely like to hear about it in the comments. These are exactly the kinds of things worth passing along. Next time, we are going to look at the Japanese approach to window cleaning, a method so simple and effective that once you try it, you will wonder why windows ever needed a special product at all. Take good care of your home. It takes good care of you.